Welcome everyone to Meditation Mount in Ojai, Southern California, and to this full moon meditation in the solar sign of Aries with the full moon in Libra. So we are gathered from different parts of the world, and we normally begin by just gathering our forces, bringing ourselves together in virtual space. So let's do this by first taking a deep, gentle breath together, bringing ourselves present, allowing ourselves to be fully relaxed, releasing any tensions that may have accumulated in our physical body, breathing out any tensions that may be held in our emotional body. Breathing out any thoughts that may be swirling. We bring ourselves to a place of stillness, and we turn our awareness inside and take our place in the silence of the heart. Becoming aware of the beating of our heart, we know that we are alive. And as we listen with the inner ear, we hear the many heartbeats of all gathered on this call. And with every breath, we synchronize our heartbeats so that we beat as one heart. And we complete this weaving by visualizing lines of lighted love joining ourselves heart to heart, to heart, to heart. We have created a group chalice. And then let us link with other individuals and groups around the world to form an even greater chalice. The chalice that is overlighted by the one soul of humanity, into which wisdom is poured from those dimensions of being that radiate love as their natural expression. So as we participate in this global meditation, let us invite into the chalice of the group heart the presence of a greater love. Thank you. So today is the first of the three major festivals that initiates a new cycle and a turning of the zodiacal wheel. And the new cycle always begins in the solar sign of Aries, and it's often called the Festival of Resurrection, or in the West, often called Easter. A number of people have asked, why isn't Easter a fixed date? Why does it change every year, unlike other holidays that we celebrate? So how is the date for Easter determined? Let me explain. And it goes back to the early Christian church and a tradition that's carried forward. The first Sunday after the first full moon following the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere is when Easter is established. So this coming Sunday, April the 17th, is Easter Sunday. because we're celebrating the full moon. This is the first full moon after the vernal equinox here in the north. And then on Sunday, it's the first Sunday after the full moon. It's as simple as that. So today's full moon is also known as the moon of rebirth and liberation. And it honors both Good Friday, which is today in the Christian tradition, and also honors the beginning of Passover in the Jewish tradition, which celebrates liberation from slavery and the journey of rebirth. We're also celebrating Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. And this 9th month is observed by Muslims around the world as a time of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. So it's a very potent time, these new beginnings. It's acknowledged by many traditions. So coming together today for this first festival is a very opportune time. So let me briefly name the other two festivals that make up this threefold beginning to the year. The second of these three major festivals will be held next month in the sign of Taurus, and it's referred to as Wesak, when the blessings of light from the cosmos are brought to earth by the Buddha. And then the third and final festival in this series occurs in the sign of Gemini and is called the Festival of Goodwill, the Festival of Humanity. So those are the three major festivals that launch this new cycle. So let's come back to today and Aries and look at the astrological energies available today. Now, Aries has three ruling planets. The exoteric or outer ruler is Mars, and Mars carries the energy of the 6th ray. The esoteric ruler of Aries is Mercury, and Mercury brings through the 4th ray. And the hierarchical ruler of Aries is Uranus, which brings in the 7th ray. I don't want to go into depth. It just means that we get a sense of what's present and what we can work with and why this is such an opportune time for new beginnings. One of the reasons is because Aries is a fire sign. And the fire sign of Aries is often called the birthplace of divine ideas because it marks the start of the zodiacal calendar and it affirms the never-ending process of creation. And as I just mentioned, here in the northern hemisphere, Aries is associated with spring and the festival of Easter as it transmits energies of resurrection and rebirth. So in order to celebrate resurrection, it has to be preceded by death. And if we are to look around our world at the moment, I think we'll see signs of both. We see signs of the death of old forms. We see signs of emerging new life, resurrection. And we're at this transition point, so both are present. And we need to hold both equally in our hearts and minds as we move forward. Resurrection automatically follows after death. Let me just read you a couple of excerpts from the Ageless Wisdom teaching. These particular excerpts are taken from the writings of Alice Bailey, and they're published by the Lucis Trust, just to give you a sense of the importance of resurrection. So the Tibetan master states, resurrection is the clue to the world of meaning and is the fundamental theme of all the world religions, past, present, and the future. Resurrection of the spirit in humanity in all forms, in all kingdoms, is the objective of the entire evolutionary process and involves liberation from materialism and selfishness. And further, during the coming century, the meaning of resurrection will be unfolded and the new age will reveal its true significance. As humanity emerges from the death of old ideas and modes of living, relinquishing its materialistic goals and its damning selfishness, it will move into the clear light of the resurrection life. That's how it's stated. So a question to us all. What signs of rebirth and resurrection are you sensing inside yourself? What are some of the signs that are showing up in nature in your part of the planet? If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're not in springtime. You're in the autumnal part of the year. But for those of us here in the northern hemisphere, let's be aware of how nature is representing resurrection. So here at Meditation Mount, the signs of spring are really quite evident. We have a profusion of newly opened flowers in our garden, and then there's this rich fragrance of orange blossom that's carried on a warm breeze from the citrus groves in the valley below. And all of these sensations herald the stirrings of new life, and they bring joy and gratitude to all of us here. So to return to the theme of resurrection and the words of the Tibetan master, let me just read you a couple of more statements, just so that we understand the import of where we stand at the moment in this cycle of continuous creation and recreation. The Tibetan explains, there is no idea more cultivated subjectively by humanity than that of the resurrection. When life seems difficult and circumstances carry in them no grounds for happiness, and when nothing calls to one of such a nature that one goes forth happily to the day's enterprises, and when the nights of sleep are haunted nights, the thought of rising up and out of all these circumstances, of leaving all behind and of entering into a new life, carries with it strength and hope. And he further states, there have been many deaths within the aeonial life cycle of humanity. And in fact, this process of constant death, followed by constant resurrection, is the evolutionary keynote and the evolutionary technique of all nature, symbolically portrayed in the annual progress of the 4 seasons, in the cycles of day and night, and in the wonder of the emergence of beauty and color or useful function out of a seed which has struggled because of its inherent life into the light of the sun. So it's really a celebration that you can't keep life down. It comes back all the time. And once it's flowered, it goes back through the portal of death and then reappears through this portal of life that we know as spring. So today in Aries, we're celebrating this fire sign. And Aries really embodies the will to create. And the will to create eventually finds expression in the will to good, because the whole impetus behind creation is to express love. And love, when it is expressed perfectly, is a thing of great beauty. So there's one more thing to understand about Aries, and we can find this by reading the spiritual keynote of the soul in this sign. And this is what it says. I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. So what does this mean? Who's the I that comes forth? Look at it this way. The I is the higher self. So when the soul fully incarnates and takes up residence in our earthly vehicle, when it occupies our self, our earthly self, it then controls the mind, which means that the higher self now governs our daily life. We're not governed by the whims of the monkey mind. So when this happens, when the soul comes forth and rules from the plane of mind, then, because energy follows thought, all of our creative energy is put towards fulfilling the divine plan. So when I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule, it allows the seeds of heaven that hold the promise of things to come to be sown and grown on earth. And also, when I come forth, it signals that I am now mature enough to act as a wise steward and a wise gardener of Gaia. So I think we get the picture. Not just here in the Northern Hemisphere in the month of April, we're celebrating spring, but in the larger cycle of life, we're at a point in human evolution where we're passing through the death of one set of forms painfully, and yet joyfully, we're beginning to celebrate these new beginnings. So holding this promise of new beginnings alive in our group heart, let's take a few deep, gentle breaths together, just to assimilate, to digest. And I'll hand over to Diana, who will guide us through the full moon meditation.
Hello, friends. So good to be here. Thank you, Michael. Meditation Mount. What a lead-in. And here we are in this Aries, energy, fiery Aries, solar. And while we're having solar flares, the biggest we've seen in a while. So it's interesting, very fiery times, lots of change, lots of evolution, like Michael was talking about, that we're going through these throes of growth, you know, as a world. And so we come together, we get to come together on this holy day. It's a Good Friday, it's coming to Easter, it's Passover right now. It is a powerful time of awareness and presence, and a time to be present and stay present through all of this. I am thinking of this full moon as a powerful time to listen, and to listen between, to listen through the energies that will be coming in and touching when we go into our meditation. I thought it was interesting that the degree of the Aries of the full moon and the solar sun is for the sun, 27 Aries, and the Sabian symbol for that is, through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. And I thought that was interesting timing for right now. As things are amping up in intensity, we have to even more ramp down almost energetically, in the sense of not being reactive, right? To hold our positions and hold our lighthouses steady as these energies are increasing all around in this time of regeneration. The other thing that's really beautiful and unique about this particular full moon period is that Jupiter and Neptune, both ruled by Pisces exoterically, are conjunct exactly right now, which is a big, beautiful blessing. And if there was ever hope, it comes in the form of those two planets coming together that create a period now of hopefulness, of vision, of imagination. The Jupiter rules wisdom, right, and truth. The key words for it are that the consciousness, the morality, but it's of the world, right? It's our codes of conduct, it's our religions, and the things that we think together in our philosophies. Neptune is an outer planet. It is the mystery. It is the ineffable, right? The not understandable things beyond our knowings, coming together with Jupiter, our new knowing, connected to our old knowings, right? The evolution of philosophy on the planet. So it is a powerful time to realize that something is happening, and you can feel it as we're preparing right? We're preparing for this period of realignment and reattunement. And so what I thought today in our meditation to sort of start it with the phrase of listening to the universe. Neptune rules music, right? And all the medias and all the mediums, right? And Jupiter is the construction of, right? The building of. And so we're bringing those things together, and we have the privilege, right, to hold this energy together as a group, as a one life, as a growing group consciousness around the planet, to hold during these fiery Aries new beginnings time where things are coming to be born, things are being birthed, new ideas, new ways. And so here we are. So listening, using that concept of listening like listening to a seashell, or listening between the notes, just like you can read between the lines. Neptune and Jupiter are about beginning, right, to understand the mystery more. And the Aries festival is that first of the three festivals, right, that are pulling down that energy and tuning us as consciousness into the frequency of the coming next month, Taurus, the Wesak, tuning the instrument of our meditational instrument so that we can sort of handle and hold these big energies that are coming through quite on fire in Aries. So those are some thoughts before we start. So we're going to begin in a moment, and when we do, we're going to have, inside the meditation, we'll have about 10 minutes of silence within it. So I'm going to prepare the field and help us join collectively together. Michael already has, as we already are in a meditation in a sense, right when he begins to speak. So we're already joining hearts. So now as you close your eyes and you start to use your breath and balancing your breath to your body, balancing your breath into the moment, letting go of any more restless energy in the mind or the physical body or the emotions or the astral body or any of the bodies, so that you let yourself begin to come into that state of calm, collective calm, despite the circumstances. Om, right? We hold that energy true, Om. We hold that energy and balance ourselves. The physical body by a breath, the emotional body by a breath, and the mental body by a breath, harmonizing the self into the moment by the breath. Feeling yourself coming present now as a group, as we take our first steps into this bright, intense energy, this incoming energy, this world-changing energy, this divine energy. Using your heart as the conditioner. And just letting your breath get more steady. Sensing the others, many, many, many around the planet, millions, also meditating around the world. And this first wave of energy in the abstract, of that beginning intelligence, the divine plan, moving into our field. And you become receptive. I stand receptive to the divine plan. And then bring your attention now into the heart of the head, into the cave center. Taking your seat here, clear, present, pure. And from this place, send that energy now, holding your position in the heart of the head, up through the heart of the soul, through all the teachers and masters, and those high, high frequencies, feeling that line of light going up through Shambhala and all the way to Sirius, making this connection just by a thought, and holding your awareness steady then in the heart of mind. Receptive to this meditation now. And because the energies are so bright, this seed thought came to me in my meditation this morning, to hold for these times and to balance ourselves to these incoming energies. And so when we move into the silence, use this seed thought. The peace that passes all understanding. The peace that passes all understanding. the peace that passes all understanding, the peace that passes all understanding. Let this harmonize and organize the fields of your awareness as you allow this meditation to begin to assimilate and blend into your consciousness and eventually into thoughts and things. When you're ready to, I'm going to use the great invocation, followed by 3 ohms. If you know it, say it with me. And just hear the words of this alchemy from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into all human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Diana. My sense after going through this meditation is that resurrection is something that happens through us, not to us. The idea of us giving birth to something new, of participating in this great manifestation of life. And I'd like us to complete our time together by gathering up these fiery energies of new possibilities that now fill us with inspiration and hope. They actually are gathered up because they now reside in our group heart. And whatever we receive, we always offer as a blessing, so that we're part of this great circulation. Everything turns and moves. So from the mind that's held steady within the embrace of a compassionate heart, we're going to be sending out blessings to our world in 3 waves with the sounding of the Tibetan singing bowl. And the blessing that we will be sending out is the blessing of the fire of love. And as the bowl sounds, let us visualize the fire of love igniting within the human heart, because that is the true sign of resurrection. So let us gather our forces, standing within the group heart. We breathe in, and then we send out a wave of blessing and visualize the fire of love being born within the human heart. And with the second wave of blessing, we visualize all these flames coming together as the one flame of our common humanity, the one fire of love that burns within the collective human heart. And for our third wave of blessing, we sense as well as visualize the spirit of peace entering the heart filled with love. This is the peace that passeth all understanding. And with an open heart, we are ready to receive it. And as one humanity, may peace prevail on earth. Thank you, everyone, for joining together this evening. It may not be evening where you are, but here at Meditation Mount, it's early evening. And we're also gathered, not just early evening in California, but we're gathered at the springtime at the collective level of something new. Something wants to blossom. And it's that fire of love that lives inside the human heart. So may the spirit of renewal continue to pulse in our hearts, and may this fire of love reveal itself through everything that we think, say, and do in the coming days, weeks, and months. So on behalf of Diana and all of us here at Meditation Mount, I bid you farewell, and we look forward to our next gathering and the next opportunity of being of service to our world. Thank you.